Does that mean that Jacob worshipped Lavan? No, that's stupid.
In Daniel 7:14, it says, He gave him dominion and glory and a kingdom, and all peoples, nations, and tongues shall serve him. Here the word for serve in Aramaic is yipleun. It's claimed by the missionaries that the word yiplehun is only used for service given to God. For example, in Daniel 7:27, yiplehun is used for Elyonin, the Most High, and Elyonin is God. For example, in Daniel 7:25. Yeah. Is this claim true or false, Rabbi?
It's a lie, but it's a cute one. I have to tip my hat to the Christians. It's a complete lie, and this is why people ask me, why don't you get angry at Christians? Why are you so calm when you talk to Christians? Why are you so nice to them? People say to me routinely, I could never be so nice to Christians as you are. What, are you such a nice person? Maybe, I hope I am a nice guy. But this is exactly why, because this is a complete scam. I want to ask you a question. You speak English, I speak English, obviously, and everyone watching this show, well, may speak English unless you put a subtitle in. All right, so you said serve, the English word serve. Does the English word serve mean to only serve God? Of course not. But can the word serve be used describing the service of God? The answer is, of course, of course. So this is an entire game. The word yiflechun, which is Aramaic, means to serve. That's all it means. It means to serve God, or it can mean to be a waiter in a restaurant. In fact, the same word in a Jewish marriage contract, a ketubah, my sons-in-law both signed on to the marriage contract promising that they would serve, same Aramaic word, because the ketubah is written in Aramaic, they would serve my daughters. And they're terrific fellows. But that doesn't mean that they worship my daughters. I don't want them to worship my daughters. That would be idolatry. Now, but how come this Aramaic word only appears in Tanakh in serving God? Now, that's not technically entirely correct, but for the sake of argument, I just want to concede it all. I want to concede it. So just for those viewers who are not familiar with this point, the Hebrew Bible is very large. The Jewish scriptures is nearly 24,000 verses. It's a little less than that. It's nearly 4 times the size of the Christian Bible, Lahavdil. It's very large, okay? In the Hebrew Bible is almost written in all Hebrew. However, there is a little Aramaic, very rarely, but it's there. It's in quite a number of books. Aramaic, so no one misunderstands this. Aramaic is a sister language of Hebrew. They're very close, very, very close. It's closer than, let's say, Portuguese is to Spanish. Now, I'm going to just guess that you don't speak either language, and I'm going to guess you don't speak Italian either. I'm just guessing. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. But we both know that although we're not Spanish speakers, Portuguese speakers, or Italian, we know that these languages have a very strong relationship. We know that, right? Okay. So Aramaic and Hebrew are very, very close, okay? Be careful with this. So there's just a very small sample size of Aramaic in the Hebrew Bible. We have 2 big chunks of Aramaic in the Hebrew Bible. It's true, in the book of Daniel, we have a significant chunk of Aramaic from chapter 2, verse 4 of Daniel, all the way to the end of chapter 7, this chapter. And then chapter 8, Daniel resumes back in Hebrew. Why is not germane, but that's just the way it is. And then we have another chunk in the book of Ezra. There are a few places in other books, but so there's very, very little at all. Now, I need to explain this point, and this is one of those points where I just don't know why people struggle with this. So I want to explain this to you. So the Christian argues that this Aramaic word, it's not a Hebrew word, it's an Aramaic word, whenever appears in Tanakh, how much Aramaic is there in Tanakh? Very little. It's not even 1% of Tanakh. It's very small. But, so they say it always, when the word serve is used, it's always serve God. Now, by now, you should have figured this all out. What did I do to demonstrate this? I went online, and please, I encourage you to do this yourself, and look up a Presbyterian hymn book. That's what I did. I went online on Google and I looked up a PDF file which you can download for a church, a Presbyterian. That's what I did. I looked up Presbyterian. And I'm sure you could do this with any hymn book, church book that people use in their church service, and just download it. They provide it for free. So now I've downloaded a PDF file of a Presbyterian hymn book of church service, okay? I open it and I search for the word serve. I search for the word serve, which means I do Control F, which is the search. I type in the word serve, and let's say it appears 50 times. I'm making that number up. I don't remember the number. I don't know, it's 30 times or 70, I don't remember. Whatever. You can imagine the word serve would appear many times in a book that's there for religious services, right? And guess what? Every time the word serve appears in what Christians regard as a holy book that contains the liturgy of a church service, it's referring to serving God or serving Jesus, okay? Every time, because Christians consider this a holy book, okay? Does that mean I could say, look at this, I have a proof to you that the word serve in English only means to serve God? You would say, you're a fool. You picked out a PDF file of a church service book. So, of course, in that context, in a religious book, the word serve is going to be referring to serving God. It's not, for example, if you downloaded an instruction manual, how to be a waiter at the Red Lobster, whatever. So you'll find the word serve there a lot, and none of them will be talking about God. Why? Because it's not a putative holy book. So this is a game. It's a complete scam. Moreover, as I showed you the Jewish marriage contract, a man promises to serve his wife. We can also go to the Aramaic. See, this is what missionaries won't do. They wouldn't dare do this. They wouldn't dare this because they have to pull the scam off. If you go to the Targum Onkelos, which is on the Torah itself, and you go, for example, to Genesis 29. The context in Genesis 29 is Jacob is very committed to marrying Rachel. He asks Lavan, to marry, and he has to serve Lavan for 7 years. He's tricked. He has to serve. Well, the word serve there is used quite a bit. Jacob serves Lavan. Well, go to the Aramaic. The Aramaic is going to say Yiflachun, the same word. Does that mean that Jacob worshipped Lavan? No, that's stupid. That's silly, you understand? So it's all a game. It just, the word Yiflachun means to serve, but it's true that if you're looking in a holy book that's about the service of God, of course there you would very likely, you could take pick your religion, right? A book of liturgical hymns if you look up the word serve in a PDF file by doing the search Control F, that's the shortcut for a search. You look up the word serve, it'll be serving God, right? or Jesus or whatever. That does not mean that the word serve in the English language only means serve God, and that's what they've done. So, of course, in a Bible where there's not much Aramaic, there's just not. Once we undo the constriction of looking for texts in Ezra and Daniel, and we loosen it up to look at the Targum Onkelos as an example, there we find the word serve, this same exact word used. We're definitely not talking about serving God. So it's a game. It's a game, unfortunately, that destroys lives. It brings people to idolatry. So that's all it is. So they're dealing with not just a small sample size, but a specialized, highly constrained sample because it comes from holy books. So, of course, the word yivlachun is going to be attached to serving God. That's because these are holy books. So, of course, you would expect to find that if you have such a small sample size, really essentially Daniel and Ezra. There is a little Aramaic in other places, not that much, very little. Those are the two big ones. That's all. It's just a game. It's like, I'm sure you've watched, I don't know, on YouTube, maybe you've gone to a magic show, right? And you see a guy, he cuts a lady in half. You wonder how he does it. I don't know. That's all this is, just figuring out. And the way, how the magicians do tricks, the laws of physics are not being suspended for your entertainment, but rather magicians use distraction. They get you to look here, and they're doing their stuff here. And that's what this is. This is just a magic show. Unfortunately, it's not entertaining. It's spiritually destructive. If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא עת נעשה בחפצו כל